everybody. Welcome to Phatman and Littleboy Show. I am your host, Phatman.
I'm Littleboy.
And this is our weekly Netcast podcast. And I'm not even going to tell you what it's for anymore.
It's for the 30th.
It's right now, today.
It's for April 30th.
April 30th, 2012.
Right.
But no longer are we doing this weekly deal.
No.
Tomorrow
you can never get it right. That's why.
Tomorrow's May 1st.
May
you know,
1st?
May is one of my favorite months.
Yeah?
June, July, May, June, July. Those are my favorite months in Southern California because August and September is literally hell.
You know what's awesome? July, August, September, October, November. Well, those are the initials to the first letter of each of those months is my first name.
Well, now they all know your first name.
Well, you know.
I didn't even think about that. You know, I've never even thought that.
I've had this name for almost 40 years now, and some customer of mine at my work on the phone one day about a year ago said, "Do you know that July, August, September, October, November is your name?" And I'm like, "What? I had never heard that before."
And then you went like this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did.
Well, little boy, how was your week?
Week's been good. We're getting used to no cable. Like I said
that's
before,
right.
we cut the cord, and we're getting used to our Netflix. And I had my youngest daughter, come out and said, "I am so happy that we cut cable and got Netflix." They love it. So everybody loves it. Now, I'm not sure if we'll run out of stuff to watch on there or not, but everybody loves it right now.
You will run out of the mainstream stuff in about 6 months.
Yeah.
Because when I did the cord cutting thing, it lasted a year or two, and I ran out in about 6 months. But then you'll find other stuff that's obscure that you'll want to watch.
Yeah.
Like there's Psych. I don't know if you've ever watched that.
Yeah, I've seen those, but I got off of it, so I can.
But now you catch back up. There's Burn Notice. These are all like USA Network.
Was good.
Very good. And these are USA Network shows. You'll start watching those and go, "Wow, those are great."
I plan on watching Sons of Anarchy, which
Sons of Anarchy, one of the top 5.
I'm doing that for you, Sergio. Sons of Anarchy. I will start watching that.
Whoa. Good show. You will be blown away by that show. And you know, I applaud you for that because you have teenage daughters that they're not driving age yet. So they're stuck with you and you're doing that. And you know what, I tried the same thing. Like I said, it lasted a year, but at the end of that year, oh my God, we had cable right back there.
We always can. There's always lots of options. I have a feeling this one's going to stick because there's just more and more online options. When the funny thing is, you can only use your Netflix account so many places, and we have computers in every room. So I went to go use it, and it was being used by
Well, I thought it allowed you to do it so many times. Like you could have
not
5 or 6.
Unlimited. I think we can do 3 or something like that.
Oh, really?
So I went to do it, and it was being used. So I just went to NBC and watched The Office. Because you can still.
But what did it say? What does it say?
Too many. Your account is being used by too many different devices.
Oh, okay. All right.
So real quickly, I want to give a shout out to my sister and her husband. Today is their 3-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations!
And once again, to her husband, we appreciate you taking her off of our hands.
Oh,
please,
God, yes,
do
you
not
did a
give
great
up on
job.
her. Do not give up on her.
And if you give up, then that's the time you have to. It is worth it.
Yes.
15 years.
If you want to follow, I said twice.
You just said it 3 times.
I did it. Dang. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at LBHost, and I'll be following your tweets during the show. And I do want to apologize. Last week, I actually received a couple tweets during the show that I completely missed. I didn't realize I wasn't ignoring you. After the show was over, I looked and I saw, and it was too late, of course, to answer them, online. But we will be responding to them online on the show if we get them. And
same deal with me.
We got Phatman.
Phatman Show. It's Phatman.
Yes.
As we talked about last year when our show started, I wanted to be Phatman, and that was my handle for years through Google and before Google, Yahoo. I mean everything. Phatman and Littleboy is owned by one of the large networks, and they would not let us use FAT.
Larger than our network.
Yeah. Matter of fact, their break room is larger than our network. But anyway, so they said no. But, so it's Phatman. I know I have a lot of people who email Phatman at phatmanandlittleboy.com all the time, and it gets returned, so I ended up just opening up an email for that, but I can't legally use it. So.
Yeah.
Well, Littleboy, we have a lot to talk about. And this one, since religion to you is...
Have we put the phone number out, too?
Yeah, throw it out.
Okay. If you want to call in and contribute to any of the things that we're talking about, 619-387-3457. Call. It'll ring right in. We'll get you right on the air, and hopefully it'll be an interesting conversation. Last week we had a really
great caller
Mark.
Mark
from New York. And he brought up some really interesting things that neither one of us had really thought about.
No.
So,
And I did a lot of thinking about that afterwards, because I kept saying, yeah, I'd probably do it, But then, I feel really bad for the store owner.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I could do that to somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if he was a liberal, I probably could, but I doubt he is because he's a business owner.
Yeah,
so
that's the way you think.
And business owners aren't like that. They're usually smarter than being a liberal. Anyway, so basically, let's go over this. I'm going to let you talk about this one because you put this on here, and religion to you, obviously you think it's a joke, but what you do like to talk about it more than I do. So I'm going to let you open this one up.
Well, it was just an article I saw. It says religion is going to play a key factor in the presidential race this year.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the polls, now I don't have the polls right in front of me, but they had done some polls, and it looked like they had said that between all voters, Barack Obama was leading, which I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. They said by 6 points or 7 points or something, which I haven't seen that before, so that seemed kind of high. But they said over, I said it again. They said ultra-religious and semi-religious people, Mitt Romney was leading in the polls, and by people who are not very religious, Obama was leading by a wide margin on those. Do you think religion is going to play a big factor in this race?
You have a Mormon and a Muslim. So what are you going to do there?
Running.
Well, Obama's Muslim, so you got a Mormon and a Muslim.
He is not Muslim.
So how is it going to pull a big factor in it? I don't know, because you have Mormonism, which the Catholic faith doesn't really fall behind.
Yeah,
but when it comes to Republicans, it doesn't matter. Again, we talk about this a million times. They're going to all vote Republican.
Are they going to be more loyal to their Republican,
or they
would be more loyal to their religion?
No, they would be more loyal to Republican, because you're not going to get the Pope to come out and say don't vote for Romney because he's Mormon. You're just not going to get that. But you will get the Pope to say don't vote for somebody if they're Muslim.
But Obama's not Muslim.
I'm just saying you would get him to say that.
Yeah, but okay.
Because the Christianity section is still First
of all, is the Pope really? Are they even allowed to get? I know
of course they can.
They do. I know churches aren't allowed to say vote for this guy, vote for this guy.
No, they say vote for your heart, vote for righteousness, vote for
right. But they're technically not allowed to
family
say
values.
Don't vote for this guy and vote for this guy.
Right. And it's not even that they're not allowed. It's not that they're not allowed. No, the Pope endorses people.
I think it affects their tax exempt status.
Pope is not in the U.S.
I'm talking about churches.
Churches on their own?
Yes.
No, because they'll never say vote for this candidate or that candidate. They'll never support a candidate. What they'll say, and that's where the whole family values...
Well, some of them have said that, though, and gotten in trouble for that.
That's where the whole family values section comes out. Where they say, because the Republicans always run on the family values doctrine kind of deal.
Is so funny.
But so that's basically how they get around that. Now, as far as the numbers come up, if you think about it, and I'm just going to ask you, because I know the numbers, I pulled up the stuff from Gallup. Republican Party, more or less religious. If you say there's 100 of them, would you say 50% are religious?
I think that more of them say they're religious.
Okay, but they would say religion. So if you called them and asked them, because that's how Gallup works,
yes.
They're religious.
Yes.
Democratic Party.
I think more than 50% will say they're religious.
You think so?
Yes.
So you're saying that both parties are exactly the same if they say they're religious?
That is not...
Well, no, I'm asking you, because the reason I'm asking you is 30%, a third of the people who vote say they are not religious. Now, they don't say what party they're in, but they say they are not religious.
My guess is the majority of those would be Democrats.
And that's what I'm trying to get out.
That would be what I'm saying.
So,
I'm not trying to trick you or nothing.
No, it's not tricking me at all. So the question is then, he would do with non-religious voters, he pulls a 30%, 29% increase.
Now, do you think, okay.
So if you just run the numbers, that would be normal. I would say that there's at least 20% more non-religious Democrats than there is Republicans. I would say we're close to that.
Okay.
So that number I can understand. The very religious, I think it's exactly the opposite factor. The people who say they're very religious, I think there's more Republicans that say that they're very religious compared to Democrats, so that brings it up there. The moderate, that's the one I think you need to look at, because that's going to be the one that basically says yes and no. You know what I mean? But this... And we're going to get into this a little later.
Should religion have anything to do with politics, though? I'm not asking if it does.
Should it? if there was somebody running for office that was completely against my religious views, I mean 100%. And let me tell you something, I'm not Mormon by any stretch of the imagination. I have very good friends, my closest friends and family, friends that are Mormon. I don't believe in the Mormon faith. That's not what I'm going to say. But if he was I don't know how to say it. I mean, I would not vote for an atheist. I wouldn't, because I even though he would make the decisions correct on, maybe political views.
You want the guy who is president, whatever his religion is, should have absolutely nothing to do with the way he runs the country.
That's true. They shouldn't have anything to do with it.
That's what my point is. That's what I'm trying to get at.
But now there's two things with me, because there's two things. There's my political view and then my spiritual view. And for me, it's very difficult. You're my best friend, and, you're a heathen. But what I turn around, but the difference is, and you say it all the time, how I feel towards you is, different. I don't know. I just don't know. It shouldn't have anything to do with it, but it does. I mean, by me, I'm just telling you it is.
So at least we agree that religion should have nothing to do with politics.
It shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah,
it just does.
I agree. It does, and it shouldn't. I wish it didn't, because there may be some, now maybe not when you and I are alive, but I mean, imagine if somebody was running. Let's say that I'm
listening to you. I'm not sitting there doing this. I have someone who's trying to call into the show, and they just tweeted me the number. Again, the number is 619-387-3457.
Right.
Hey, little boy, I looked up that information for you, and there was a law passed in 1954 banning tax-exempt organizations from engaging in politics.
Yes.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. You're right, they shouldn't. The way they get around that is, and we all know how they get around it, they get around it by...
They use code words.
Code words. I mean, that's how you get around it.
I don't think they should be... This is for another
show.
Don't
hate the player, hate the game.
This is for another show, and this is something that we've talked about, that we will talk about. We've discussed this as a topic, but I don't think churches should be tax exempt anyways.
I just got a tweet that I want to throw out there real quick.
Sure.
One, I want to thank Elizabeth. This is Elizabeth Warden, not from the Washington Post, because there's another one here from the Washington Post, but I don't believe that's her sending it to us. Would Romney have ordered to kill bin Laden? The answer is, and this is actually being asked out.
That's our next subject.
That is. You know what? We'll go on that later, because actually it's sent to me, but it was sent to like 20 other people.
We have a call.
Okay. Go ahead.
Say hello.
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 I never heard it ring.
I don't hear anything.
It's on.
Make sure number 7 is on and the yellow button's off.
Hello, are you there?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Quick question. You guys did a story a couple weeks ago about everybody's favorite Obamacare, and how it would kind of play out if you didn't have Obamacare in the form of penalties on your taxes. And I wanted to ask you two what your take is on that. Are any of you skeptical that this is just the government hiding behind safety once again in an attempt to generate more funds?
So basically, what your question is the Obamacare, if it did get passed, would be that if they didn't have it, that you would get penalized? Is that what you're asking?
Right. If you didn't have it, you're going to get penalized somewhere on your taxes in the form of a penalty somewhere.
Right, of course. Well, it's the government finding a way to get money, obviously.
Well, I don't know if it's... I think it's them saying that we want everybody to be insured, and if you almost kind of taking the choice away from you, kind of like an auto insurance type thing, where you have to be insured, you have to do it. You don't have a choice, and you'll be penalized for not doing it.
You could just not drive.
I know that. I'm not saying that it's the same. I'm just saying that it's the same idea. Why, the same kind of rule.
I tell you, my feeling on that is I don't want the government telling me to do anything. So that's exactly it. The other thing is that is why it's in the Supreme Court, and that's why the Supreme Court's going to knock it down.
I hope they don't.
I believe it's unconstitutional to basically put a tax penalty on someone for not paying for health care. This is not, not sending your kid to school. This is not having a driving license when you're driving a car. This is different. This is health care. This is, you have the ability to go to private health care and pay yourself if you want to use that service. I do not believe the government should turn around and
you can
enforce
still do that. If you still do that,
except that if
you won't be penalized.
But you will be penalized if you don't have insurance.
Right,
so say you have a private doctor that you go pay $250 when you go see him. Well, negative, you can't do that. You must have some type of insurance.
Now there are ways of opting out. There is a way of opting out.
But the opting out did not work. They said you will still get nailed on your taxes. You will still get hit on your taxes without some type of plan.
I will tell you, and we can maybe talk some more about Obamacare, but my thought is it is the best for everybody to have insurance. And if you don't think...
Sure, it's the best for everybody to have insurance.
If you do not think that this is the best plan, let's come up with one that works. But let's not just say we're not going to do it and let's move on, because that's what every president before has done. Nothing. This president said it is best for this country and it is best for the children in this country to have health insurance.
This president... Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, it's just... okay, if you are going to give people penalties, though, it's just every time you turn around. I mean, for everybody, I'm guessing that probably the majority of Americans do have some sort of outstanding balance on their taxes. And if you do, good luck getting a hold of, anybody in any kind of government office for that matter. I mean, they're so understaffed, it's crazy. I mean, so to sit there and say that, okay, well, we the people should have to pay penalties, okay, that's one thing. And yes, I do agree everybody should have, health care one way or another, but to stick it or tack it onto your taxes, it just doesn't seem like a...
What's a better way then to get? What's a better way then? What's a better solution to get everybody with health care and not penalize people who don't do it? You can't use the honor system. The honor system doesn't work.
The thing is, though, I don't like when the government decides, and this is why I totally, and even the Obama administration totally agrees, that it's going to get struck down in the Supreme Court. You cannot force people to do this. This is not an issue that you could turn around and say, hey, you must pay taxes. This is, you must pay for a preventative care. Is it good? I think everybody should have health care. You're absolutely right. But you know what? The people who can't afford it are going to it's going to get purchased for them by us. And the problem is, we can't afford it. I cannot afford my taxes to go up one penny. I cannot afford my taxes to go up one penny. And I know they will.
It's going to go for what it's intended for,
No, and that's the other thing, too. And the other thing is, I don't care if Billy Joe Queen down the street has birth control. That's her problem, not mine. And I don't want to pay for it.
It's a birth control issue.
It's in there in the health care.
It's being turned into a birth control issue.
But it is part of it. It is part of it.
If somebody has health care and they want to use birth control, then let them use birth control. That's their.
But then we're going to step on a real big hotspot right here. Someone has health care and they want to use it for an abortion. I absolutely, to the bone, feel it's murder.
Okay.
So now they're using my money to commit murder. In a way that I don't approve. I don't approve of murder anyway, but I don't approve of it. And the problem is... Well,
I'm so happy you took that stand that you don't approve of murder.
Because I figured you'd start something with the military, because you're such an anti-military guy. But
I am not an anti-military guy.
Yeah, you're anti-everything. So anyway...
Bull.
Caller,
you can't just say bull like that and expect me just to sit here and let you go with it.
We do need to roll, but caller, really thank you very much for calling in and talking about that.
Come up with a better plan, and I would love to hear it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks a lot, man. Bye.
This brings up a good point. I want to ask you a question.
We've got a phone call. That's nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. What do you think... gosh, we got so much to talk about.
Let's move on.
What do you think this president can run on? What do you think his campaigns are going to say? What is his achievements?
Well, he's turning the economy around.
Has he? Can numbers be skewed to show yes and no? I'm just asking.
Numbers. You're so funny because you're the guy who always says numbers don't lie.
They don't, but can they be shown? Okay, right.
Yeah.
So that's a hard one. That's a hard one to run on.
You can take the same set of numbers and have two different people look at them and say they say different
things. Here's how the argument would go. Here's how the argument would go. I've increased the economy. I've built the economy, and then all it takes is for the other candidate to say, "But you increased the national debt almost by twice." So basically, right. You know what I mean?
I believe that he's turning the economy around.
Okay, and he's increased that I'm going to be the other guy, so I'm going to be the opposite.
You asked me.
I know, but I want to be the opposite guy.
I believe that he is creating more jobs,
and I could show you that the unemployment went up again.
We had jobs. It didn't go up. It just didn't go down as much as they were expecting.
But there's less people working.
It's not up. There's more people working now than there were when he took over.
There's less people working this year than last year.
There's more people working now than when he took over.
Yeah, but I'm telling you the arguments are going to say, yeah, but there's less people working this year than last year.
This will be our next subject, too. He got Bin Laden.
Yes, and let's talk about that. That's why I brought into this. That is a good one that I would... And I tell you what, I watched the Huffington Post... Arianna Huffington, who is the... Arianna, the editor-in-chief of the Huffington Post. She was on CBS News talking about how she believes that using the death of bin Laden to be a despicable act. And did the president have everything to do with it? Obviously he didn't. But he was the president at the time. The SEAL team today is also very upset because stuff is coming out that shows that it really was Clinton that pushed it through, but... the president still has his finger on the button. If he would have said no, it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So you do have to give him that. And that is something he can run on.
I think that's what his argument is that Romney would have said no.
How do you know that?
I don't know. I'm not saying anybody does. That's what
how would Romney have said no? Why would Romney have said no?
I'm telling you that's what he said.
Right, but he doesn't know what Romney would have said.
No, of course he doesn't.
Right.
Nobody knows what anybody would have said.
But you have a president who hasn't been in the military, in the military, people feel different about this. Now, I don't care how you feel about it. Has Romney been in the military? I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm talking about...
So your choice is two guys who haven't been in the military.
Right. What I'm saying is, when you take credit for something like that, it does upset...
Is he the commander in chief?
Yes, he was. Okay. I'm saying why the SEAL team's getting upset about it.
Right.
They always... have a problem when their commander actually doesn't do what they're supposed to do.
I certainly think that he gave the SEAL team lots of credit for what they did.
But now he's saying that it was because of him.
Well, maybe it wasn't.
Well, maybe it was. But the question is, I am happy he said this because to me, it makes me feel like this is what he's going to be able to grasp for. He really doesn't have a lot to grasp for. I mean, there's really not a lot. There's something that can be rebutted for everything that has happened. Has change happened?
For anything that
but has change really happened? No. Have we really gained?
I believe it has. I believe it has.
The expense to do it has been so great.
I just don't think that we're as far along as people wish we were, and I don't think that we're as far along as people think we could be. But that doesn't mean that they're right either.
But
I think that we are moving in the right direction.
But here's what's against him. You're working at a $4.50 a gallon gas. You're looking at
which the president has zero control over.
Doesn't matter. You're looking at a deficit that has grown by unbelievable marks. You're looking at spending
as soon as he can push through the Buffett tax rule,
and that will never happen. So then you have
the majority of America is in favor of it, including the majority of millionaires are in favor of it.
Yeah, right. And this is all stuff that you just pull out of your head because
that's not.
Let me tell you something. I know quite a few millionaires, and guess what? They're not for it.
That doesn't. Look it up. Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah.
Go to your favorite Gallup poll,
but
and
will he be able to pull that out before the election?
I sure hope so.
Well,
I sure hope
Congress doesn't want to vote on it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Congress won't vote on it. They will not vote on it. So you can't. I could always say too. Hey, also don't forget. There's a huge gold strike waiting, too, and it can happen any day.
If he can ram it through, that would be great.
And it won't happen. And you know why it won't happen? Because there's no way it's going to make it through. Now, the question I have for you is, what can he really push out there? Because he pulled this Osama bin Laden, shows me they're nervous. This should have been a last-minute poll. This shouldn't have been. Oh, yeah. No. You don't pull something like this where it has 6 months for all these leaks that are going to happen now through the Pentagon where we could have got him 10 other times and he said, no, there's going to be this. Because all that's going to happen now. Obviously, with the SEAL team himself, the SEAL team, first off, that is their commander. They shouldn't say anything. You know what I mean? And they're outspoken. They know that they can get discharged for something like this. And they're willing to put that out there.
I'll have to look, because I heard you talking about that. I have to,
it just popped up. It just popped up. So basically, now you have, I believe, that he pulled this out, too soon. I would have left this to the end to remind people at the last second, but not let the news have the chance. Well, liberal news won't matter anyway, but
it's not liberal news. It's corporate news now anyways. It's not liberal news
anymore. Let them have time to start pulling stuff like this out. I don't think he has a whole bunch that he's going to be able to run on. I think what's going to happen is...
We'll see. I can't wait for the debates. That's when you know...
Yeah, and the debates are going to be great
people talking about it. I can't wait for the debates. I really can't. And we'll have to see.
But I'm trying to get from you something that you can tell me that would be something I would get, oh, yeah, you're right.
There's not a thing I could say that you will do that.
No, but anything that you can say that would be like, oh, that's right, he did do that.
He pushed through national health care.
But it's going to get, if it gets nailed down in the Supreme Court, then what happens there?
It isn't right now. Right now it's not being overturned by the Supreme Court, so, let's hope it doesn't.
If it gets turned over, that's right. If it doesn't, that's a win for him.
Right.
If it does,
well then...
it's detrimental.
Well, of course it is.
So let's go to the next one.
Turn the economy around.
Now, when you say turn the economy around, you mean that the public is making more, less?
Did you see where the jobs were heading, the direction of unemployment towards the end of Bush and at the beginning of Obama to where it is now? It's moving in the other direction. Maybe not moving as fast as you would like, but it is moving in the other direction.
Here's what happens every single year. No, jobs created. That's the number we want to talk about.
Yes.
Jobs created.
Not as fast as people like, but jobs are being created. We're not losing jobs.
We are
losing jobs.
We are in the negative still. We are not in the negative.
Trending in the negative. We are not in the positive.
Yes.
As steep as.
Now let's take something else from that. Okay, that's very good. We're going to go by what you're saying. If you know there's less jobs now than there was 4 years ago, we're going to go by this. We're going to go by this. So we'll say for you that they haven't lost any more.
They're trending in the right direction.
They're trending, meaning they're not losing any more.
Every month we're gaining jobs.
No, we're not gaining jobs. We have not gained employment.
We are gaining jobs month to month. We are gaining jobs.
There is more people entering into the workforce, entering in, than are receiving jobs. That is happening. Every day in China, it's thousands and thousands of people that enter into workforce. In the U.S., it's thousands and thousands of people who enter into the workforce, meaning graduating from college, graduating from high school, coming off of disabilities, coming off just entering into the workforce. There is no more gained than are coming in. Gaining jobs means if you have 100 people entering the workforce, you have 100 new jobs.
I see what you're saying. That is still better than losing jobs, which we were doing at the end of Bush's tenure and the beginning of Obama's.
To do that, it has cost $8 trillion. So if I took the $8 trillion,
$8 trillion, it didn't cost $8 trillion.
How much is the national debt went up?
870-something billion.
No,
we brought that number up.
No, we did too. You're right, and you were absolutely wrong. You kept saying the national debt, and then I showed you what the national debt was at the end.
The jobs.
No. You're talking American Reinvestment Act. It has nothing to do with it. We're talking about complete and overall what it took. If it was the $800 billion to get the people back.
So you're going to say that every single thing that has raised the debt has been used to create jobs?
That $800 billion for the American Reinvestment Act was just the small bit. The rest of the money spent in the national debt was spending to get jobs, to do reinstruction and infrastructure. Even if you took half of that, even if I took $1 trillion of that, if you have a million people...
You're just applying every single dollar that's gone towards the national debt.
No, I'm telling you, even if we cut it down, let's cut it all the way back down. Even let's cut it down to $1 trillion, $1 trillion. If you have 25 million people unemployed, because that's where we were at, right? 25 million. And you didn't change that number, but all the new people coming into unemployment,
are you saying there's the exact same number of people unemployed now as there were the day that you took over?
They said there has not been a gained job.
I'll have to check that out because
there's a difference. There's a difference between people applying for unemployment. That's losing.
Right.
That means they're held. But then there is getting the people who were on unemployment back to work.
I don't buy that for a second.
Because even if they took, then let's say he cut it 50%, but he didn't. I know it's even. But even if it cut 50% out, you're saying $1 trillion for 12 million people. Now, let's divide that $1 trillion up for that 12 million people that it costs to get back into business.
We had this argument already, first of all.
No. The only reason why I'm doing this, we're talking about what he can use. And this is what's going to happen in the debate. Is the numbers are going to come out that say, yes, okay, fine, you were able to slow the loss down, but this is it. So that's where that's what I'm trying to talk about.
We just got a tweet saying you people still think this election is between Bush and Obama.
No, that's what you do. Always bring Bush back up.
I bring Bush back up because you're right. I do, because Bush is what what drove us in this direction. He's trying to fix it.
You know what? The thing is, I like the fact you keep bringing Bush into it because that's what shows that you have nothing new. No, not just you. The whole Democratic Party on its own. The only thing they can do is instead of showing the wins,
which they
have
show,
to show me one.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Instead of showing the wins, they turn around and go to the past.
There's nothing that I can say that you're not going to say, oh, this.
No, what I'm saying is, where is that bomb? Where is that good thing?
We will see what happens during the debates. That is when we. That's when we
will really what I'm talking about.
I'm looking forward. I am really looking forward to
because I can't see, and especially seeing that the president pulled this thing out about bin Laden. He doesn't really have a lot of gold stars.
All right. Well, then we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
All right, so let's run on the next one real quick because we're at 25 minutes. The Republicans prepare contempt citation against Eric Holder. He is the Attorney General. Over the Fast and Furious controversy. Mm-hmm. Here's what has to happen there. Obviously, they're going to get all the records. They're going to see what happened. It's going to come out. Wouldn't you want that to come out sooner than later?
Well, first of all, I did a little bit of research on this, too. It says these documents aren't subject to congressional appeal. So he's grandstanding.
But why? Why would you do that? Why do they matter?
They're not subject because revealing them would reveal strategies and procedures that could be used to evade the Department of Justice efforts because the documents he's asking for are confidential materials concerning open investigations. They're not even subject to congressional appeal.
I'm going to throw you back. A few years.
What he's throwing out there is he's just basically grandstanding and it's all he's politicizing and just he's asking for something that he knows he can't get.
This is what I want to bring you back to. You probably won't remember this.
Okay.
Let's talk about Iran-Contra and how they wanted to have all these documents. The Republicans did the same thing, and it turned into this gigantic mess where the Republicans finally gave stuff up. If this turns into the same issue, and because sooner or later he's going to have to turn stuff over. He's just going to have to.
Yeah, but they're not going to turn over. They're not going to turn over stuff for open investigation.
You think that every single bit of that is they're on Holder is on such a great perfectness that all of that isn't. Could there possibly be that a little bit of it should be?
Let me ask you this: a lot of these policies and stuff that were started years when Michael was Mukasey. Is that the old Attorney General?
Okay.
Was the Attorney General? Why wasn't he? Why isn't he being brought into this at all?
Because this Fast and Furious did not happen there now.
It was started back then.
So it was in his first Attorney General.
Yes. No, but he was the Attorney General during Bush.
Fast and Furious happened during the
president. Yeah, but Fast and Furious was part of a general policy that was started back in 2006. And if they were really interested...
But they're asking about the guns.
Right, but why...
They're not asking about the beginning. They're asking about the guns.
No, why...
The only thing they care about is the guns. They want to know why the guns got there. And that didn't happen during Bush.
That was started. All that stuff was started during Bush.
No, you're going over the whole policy. You're not talking about where the problem was.
Why are they not asking... Why aren't they asking anything of this old Attorney General, too?
Would he have the documents still in his house? Or do you think they're there at the Department of Justice?
Why aren't they even talking to him? Why aren't they even talking to him?
How do you know they're not?
Are they?
How do you know they're not?
I'm asking you, are they?
No, you said why they're not.
Why aren't they?
Well, I don't know if they are or not. But the thing is, why are you trying to push this back into Bush again? This happened during... This happened
when it all started.
No, it did not.
Yes, it did.
So you mean to tell me the whole deal where the cartel got all those guns happened in the Bush administration, even though it happened for sure when Bush was completely out of office? You're doing this again.
I'm telling you that all this policy started back when Bush was.
So did taxes. Why don't we say, hey, why doesn't FDR's widow show us stuff? Come on.
I don't have a problem with this stuff being investigated.
I think it should be.
I want it to be investigated.
Now, the question I had to you,
fully.
Good. Investigate him too. Fine.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with when the guns got transferred over.
If he had nothing to do with it, that's fine. But let's fully investigate this.
Then you know what? Let's fully investigate it.
Yeah. I have no problem with it being...
Turn everything over.
I have no problem with it being
if you have nothing to hide, then guess what? You have no problems there anyway, right?
If there's, I don't think that he should be. He can be turning over stuff that's gonna.
But what if this guy was gonna turn over stuff that could
well, then I wouldn't
jeopardize
want him to. Then they shouldn't.
Then he shouldn't. But maybe Holder should.
What does that mean?
Because that's what you're saying. You always bring it back.
That is not what I'm saying.
The question here is...
First of all,
the question
for the
here
record,
is,
I want this to be investigated.
Okay.
But I want it to be investigated fully, not just for political
I got a question for you.
Let's get to the bottom of this and find out what the...
Okay, then you know what? It wouldn't hurt at all Romney's campaign for... What's the first guy you said? Moley, whatever his name is?
Michael Mukasey.
Okay, it would not hurt his campaign at all if that came out. Would it hurt the president's campaign if Holder's came out? And it turned out and said, well, obviously, if they don't want to give it up, and the guy's getting ready to get under indictment for contempt, and it's not going to come out, I mean, obviously, that's pretty tough.
He's not getting ready to be under indictment for contempt.
If they
the documents aren't even subject, he's asking for stuff that aren't even subject to congressional appeal.
You mean every single piece of it is...
What he's asking for are not subject. Look it up. Look it up.
I know what you found through MSNBC, because that's where you found it.
That is not where
I read it today. There's no possible way that every single document is not subject. They said there's no possible way. Because even, what they say, glossaries, even title pages, they are all subject.
Whatever's subject to congressional appeal that's not going to mess with their ongoing investigations, turn them over. I don't have a problem with that.
Good, then turn them over. So my question is, and the reason why we brought this up, will it hurt or not President Obama?
Well, if it comes out that he did something wrong, sure it will.
Okay, good. So that's the next step. So let's continue. Now we're going to drop. Now we're at 35 minutes. So we got to actually kind of cut it. We're going to cut the studios. We're going to go to Kadhafi and Sarkozy.
Okay.
Okay. President of France and the old president of Libya had a secret nuclear deal where France, which is a very, 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 very much in a nuclear nation, I mean, they use it for power and everything, was going to sell technology to Kadhafi.
Were they trading it to have him release some
He was going to release people and fuel and oils. I didn't even know that Libya had fuel, but I guess I do. So anyway, hello. We can hear everybody here. Is there people back there in the back being quiet? So the question is, do you think all of a sudden, when this stuff started coming out, look what happened to Libya and Kadhafi. Now, this is a good thing. I believe that this leaked out earlier, and the CIA got involved with it, and all of a sudden you see an Arab Spring there. What do you think?
You see a what?
Well, where the Arabs, the Arab uprising.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not big on conspiracy.
I'm not saying conspiracy. What I'm saying is, isn't this interesting that this happens? The question I have is, how did the French newspapers just get it now? You would think they'd have some kind of mole leak by, I mean, how long has Kadhafi been out? Months now.
Yeah, but, so what do you think happened? You think, I mean...
I personally think the U.S. did not want Libya to have nuclear weapons.
Of course not.
I absolutely believe...
Did you want...
No.
Did you want them to have nuclear weapons?
And the reason why I brought this up is I just want to see what you think on this. Do you think that we knew about it? Obviously we knew about it, I'm sure. Do you think the U.S. knew about it, and do you think the U.S. took any stance on it?
Like, you think the U.S. had something to do with getting Kadhafi killed?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I hope so. I would think it would be great.
I don't know. I don't know if the... I don't know. I mean,
if it was Bush being president, would you think?
I don't know.
I want to ask you a question. You're the one who always brings Bush into it. Since the only way to get an answer from you is to use his name.
You put me on the spot. I don't know. I don't know if the U.S. had something... I mean...
I didn't say, do you know? I said, do you think?
Do I think, okay...
Didn't you just give me a bunch of crap last week about the...
I know.
You know.
I know. I'm trying to formulate an opinion here because you kind of hit me off guard. I think that the U.S. might have been involved a little bit, although I always thought the U.S. was involved a little bit, but whether they were like the central driving force of that or if it was a secret, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can go there.
It's interesting. I was hoping to get more out of you from that. But you know,
our
show has run long enough. I think we're good enough.
All right.
I think we very much showed that you just love to bring Bush into everything.
Yeah, well, you know, he was a cause of many of our problems.
Yeah, right, to you. The question...
Not just me.
Hey, let me tell you something. During the Bush years and the Clinton years, I had more money than I've ever had in my life. So... I don't know.
Okay.
A lot more than I have right now during the Obama years.
Yeah, Obama started the second Obama went into office.
Hey, I will blame him forever. Let me tell you something else. Just like you blame Bush, when he's out of office next year and it's Romney, you will still go back to Bush. I know you will, but the thing is, I'll always be able to go back to Obama, just like you can go back to Bush.
I hope that doesn't happen.
It will. Sadly for our show, it's going to hurt because it turns it from me being able to be on the offensive to having to defend actions.
Yeah.
And that for me,
it would have been nice if we had this show about 5 years ago.
Oh, if we had this show 5 years ago, it would have been great. So,
okay.
You can always get me at Phatman at phatmanandlittleboy.com. That's PHATMAN. And you can get me on Twitter at PhatmanShow.
And I'm at Littleboy at phatmanandlittleboy.com. I'm on Twitter at LBHost, and I do appreciate the tweets during the show. We got
a bunch of them.
We got a few of them.
I love this one. I love this one that this guy says. Hey, it's against you. Whatever. It's too bad for you. And you can always call into the show. And I think, Littleboy, it was a good show.
Yeah. I like the phone call. I did like the phone call that we got earlier. I like the phone call we got last week.
Littleboy, could you finish giving out your information again?
Okay. You can email me at littleboy at phatmanandlittleboy.com, and you can reach me on Twitter, and I am at LBHost.
2 weeks from now, we will not be having a show. We'll have a show next Monday, but the following Monday we will not have a show. Maybe we'll do some split-ups or something like that. But other than that, we should be on. We have the Republican National Convention coming up. We have the election here in California coming up, which doesn't matter anymore, which is sadly.
If you're watching this being recorded, we do stream live every Monday at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and that's at phatmanandlittleboy.com. And do we still have a sponsor?
Yes, and I know they're going to be very upset because we're supposed to do it at the beginning. We're very sorry. It's goldandsilver.com. You can go onto our website and click on goldandsilver.com on any of the links on our website, and they'll teach you how to invest in gold. And as I always say, in this economy with a president who will print paper as he needs it, maybe you should have something as strong and holds its money like gold.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
And we'll see you real soon.
Take care.